Guys, I'm Lily. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Um, so I was actually going to avoid posting today and doing a video, because it's been like a bad day, but it's been like an off day for me, just mentally. I'm having, I don't, I don't know how to explain it. It's just I don't feel comfortable in my skin today. It's like I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be looked at. Um, I used to be like very, very aggressive when I would get like this. Um, but now I just kind of hibernate. Um, and I guess today for my coaching, my amp today is that it's okay. It's okay. Bad days are okay. Um, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not want to do something. It's okay to not be okay. Um, People have this misconception that to be successful or to be happy or I don't know, it just to be anything in life you have to be like happy all the time, and you have to be like perfect. Like you have to have, you know, appearance is everything, really, because when you look at someone, you judge them instantly. Whether you think you do or not, you really do. You judge them instantly on how they look, how they feel, like their appearance, whether they have money or not, and there's certain things that equate success in our brains, like, are they wearing nice clothes? Do they look like they're all put together? Does Lily look like she's in a good mood, or does she look like she might murder you if you try to talk to her? Um, and I used to be like, oh, I'm just gonna fake it. And now, I really don't. I'm like, they were like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, eh, I'm here today. Or I'm okay today. Or I'm good today. Or, yeah, it's just not a happy day. And, it's okay. The struggle is real, like beyond all measure. And I guess kind of beyond like my takeaway today about it's okay to not be okay is I kind of want to talk about mental illness. I want to talk about not mental illness because I don't like that. Mental health. Um, I want to talk about it's very important. I know you want to trust your doctors. First of all, if you're seeing a doctor or therapist, if they don't feel like your best friend and they don't listen to you, you need to find a different doctor. You need to find a different therapist. Because they should feel like you should be able to have a bad day and want to pick up the phone and call your therapist and be like, hey, really not doing it today. You should be able to pick up the phone and call your psychiatrist and be like, hey, last month when we talked, I didn't think this was a medication issue. I thought, therapy or my meditation or whatever would work this out. But this month I'm really feeling that like maybe it is a medication issue. Maybe, we've acclimated and I need to change some things. If you don't have the confidence and the comfort level to be able to pick up the phone and call your professional about your mental health, you need to find a new one. Because comfort in that setting is key, is absolute key. The second thing I would say is always research your medications, always research your diagnosis. And if you feel, listen to yourself, because I may have PTSD, I may have, super bad anxiety and triggers and depression and I have bad days. I have been assaulted multiple times. I have been sold. I, was a drug addict and an alcoholic for a very long time to not to treat, but to numb, to just numb and not have to feel, not have to think about what was happening to me. I lived through a very abusive marriage, and then my last adult relationship was okay. No, that's not even true. I've had three, well, including the one I'm in now, four relationships as an adult, and three of those four were abusive. And to varying degrees. So drugs and alcohol became the norm for me because I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to feel, I didn't want to think, I didn't want to have to process or deal with things. So I have triggers, I have anxiety, I have gut reactions to situations or even phrases that I can't explain. That trigger me to the point where I will completely have a meltdown and not even know why. So I would say definitely do your research. Your doctor's like, oh, don't do. I've had doctors tell me, don't do your own research because I'm the professional and you need to listen to me. Don't fucking listen to them. Okay? Because usually they're either getting kickbacks or it's usually a pharmaceutical kickback. Almost like 85% of the time when they tell you, don't worry about it. I'm the professional. You don't need to be researching. I literally have had doctors tell me, you don't need to look that up. I got this. I'm the doctor. And I was misdiagnosed and mismedicated, over-medicated for 3 years. I was a zombie on antipsychotics and, bipolar medication that I didn't need, So always do your research on your medication. Always do your research on your diagnosis, because just because you have been diagnosed with something doesn't mean that's accurate. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I will be going in within the next couple of months for a full evaluation to reassess. But things that people had seen around me as mood swings, oh, she's being moody. Oh, she's in a bad mood. She's all up and down and all over the place. It was really triggers. They're really trauma responses. If you sneak up on me, please don't ever sneak up on me. If you know me, don't sneak up on me, because depending on the setting and depending on if I've had a bad day, I can turn around and punch you in the face. Or if I happen to have a weapon on me, I might use that, because I have to protect myself and my space. I don't ever sit somewhere where I don't know all the exits. If I can't locate at least 2 exits right off the top of scanning a room, I'm out. I won't stay there. I try not to sit with my back to the door. I like to be against a wall. I like to be or in a corner so that I can see everything and everybody. If I do happen, I've gotten better. Obviously, I've gotten much better. If I do sit with my back to the door, it's usually because I have somebody with me that I trust to let me know what's going on around me. But I am very, very aware and very conscious of what goes on around me. I also have a dog sorry, I did get more comfortable, my legs hurt. I also have a dog that will eat people. He actually is the biggest baby, and he's not even, he wasn't even mine. I got him for my daughter. I got him for Skylar. She wasn't taking care of one of our puppies, so I let the puppy go for adoption. And when we talked about it, and I said, okay, we're going to get another dog, but you have to take care of it. So she picked out this dog. He's absolutely a beautiful brindle. He's a mix. It's a pit, and I think they said maybe a mastiff mix. I don't know. But he's absolutely adorable, and he is the biggest baby. He thinks he's a lap dog. You will probably hardly ever see him on this channel because when I let him out, he sits right here. He will sit in my lap. He will sit on my laptop. He doesn't care. He's the baby. And but when I have a bad day, if I let him out and I'm crying, and he will hug me. He'll come and he'll push on me, and he has to be in my lap, and he just kind of leans into me and lets me hold him, and he gives me comfort. But the biggest thing is that when I take him outside, when I go for walks or do anything outside and I have him with me, he is on guard. He was kind of a rescue. We found him on Craigslist. He had wandered up into these people's yard, and they just adopted him. And she already had 4 dogs, and she was like, I can't keep him. I love him to death, but he's so sweet, but I can't keep him. And so we got him, and he was very withdrawn, very sad and quiet. And if he got loose, he would just run. He wanted to run and escape, and he would just run. And there were several instances that first year that we had him where he got out and we had to chase him down, and it was scary. But once he got acclimated to us, he's just the biggest sweetheart and the biggest baby. But he doesn't like strangers, and he's very wary of other dogs. And and it was weird because when we first got him, he wasn't necessarily like that, but he was super sad and depressed and just like really inactive. He was very, I'm looking for a word. I don't know, subjective? I don't think that's the right word. It's submissive. He was very submissive. When other dogs would approach him or other people would approach us, he's very submissive and very timid and scared, anxiety ridden. He had separation anxiety. But the more he became part of our family, the more confident he is. He still has anxiety though. And anybody approaches us that he doesn't know, and he freaks out, and he is in immediate defense mode. So anytime I leave the house with him, I am very sure that 1, I will be protected, and 2, nobody's gonna mess with me. So if I'm having a bad day and I want some fresh air and we go for a walk, I don't have to worry about nobody messing with me, because everybody around here knows Raz, you don't mess with his mama. And he's my baby, and that's been really, really good for me. And I don't want him to eat people. I don't want him to be aggressive. I don't like that he's stranger aggressive. I like it to some degree because I know nobody's gonna mess with my kids if I'm not here. Nobody's gonna mess with me if I'm sleeping, because anybody comes to that door or the windows or anything outside, he can hear people outside our room walk by, and he freaks out. So I know that nobody's gonna mess with us, and nobody's gonna mess with me when I go outside, and that's good. But I want him to be a little more calm, and so working with him and training him has been huge. So if you have any kind of mental health issues, I would suggest getting a pet. If you are capable of handling the responsibility and of course the cost of it and the upkeep, because they have health issues and they need to go to the doctor and get shots and sometimes medication just like we do. And I would highly suggest it though, definitely, because it has been such a huge help for me, and really the kids. Emma has Izzy, who is, y'all, So I did a thing. We got this puppy. And I thought, yay, we get another puppy because I love dogs. I've always been really good with dogs. Um, yeah. I had a pit husky mix and was not prepared for the struggle. But Emma loves this dog, and that's her baby. You know, that's when she has a bad day. That's you know, they sleep together, they play together. Izzy tries to lick her face off. I mean, but Izzy's really high strung, and so, you know, working with the dogs has given me, you know, sometimes it's just something different and a little bit of a distraction, because if I can focus on them and their anxiety and their, you know, Izzy's hyperness and Raz's anxiety, and I can work on that, it helps calm me down and it helps focus me. Besides that, I really want to hit the medication issue because I have taken lots of medications, mood stabilizers, antidepressants, bipolar meds, antipsychotics, anxiety meds. I can't even, I mean, there's a list. It's a long list. And I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as the first thing you need to ask your doctor is, what is the main purpose for this drug? What was it made for? Because when the doctor goes, oh, we use this for anxiety. Well, what they had given my daughter that they were using for anxiety was actually a blood pressure medication. So when she overdosed, it stopped her heart. And they had to induce a coma, but at the same time give her an epi-drip to keep her heart going until the drugs could be cleared from her system. That's a very, very delicate balance, and it's hard. And not only were they giving her blood pressure medication for her anxiety, they were also giving her another blood pressure medication to help her sleep at night. And it almost killed her. So research what they are giving you. Ask questions. What was this drug actually made for? They use anti-seizure medication for bipolar disorder. Lamictal, it's a seizure med. It actually shuts down part of your brain so that you don't have seizures. But the conception is among some doctors, and you know, some people take these drugs and they're fine. They work great for them. Did not work well for me. But it literally shuts down part of your brain. Now, the point is that it shuts down part of your brain so that it doesn't seize, so that you don't have a seizure. Well, the thinking, I think, behind this is that it shuts down that part of your brain that also causes major manic episodes. If you don't have bipolar disorder, and this is why I said research your diagnosis, because if you don't have bipolar disorder, this drug can fuck you up. I'm talking like daily headaches. Constantly I was in pain. I felt just awful. I felt like a zombie. Like between the anxiety meds, the mood stabilizer, and the seizure medication, I was a zombie. I didn't have any feelings. And when I did have feelings, it was because I had been triggered. And I would melt down and flip out. I would rage and then I would melt down. And I couldn't even identify why. And every time I went in and told the doctor They just upped my dose. You guys have to educate yourselves. Don't find a doctor that you can trust, but educate yourself. Okay? So I was on an antidepressant, and I didn't really like it to begin with. It wasn't vibing with me. But she was like, oh, just give it time. You know how doctors are. They're like, oh, well, it takes time to work. And I get that. But if you take a medication and within the first 72 hours, you don't feel right on it, you don't feel like it's vibing with your body, the results aren't, like, you can already, especially an antidepressant, because an antidepressant takes 4 to 6 weeks to build up in your system to be able to see any results. So in the first 72 hours, if you are feeling something, anything, it's probably not good. Okay? So I told her, I was like, I don't like this, I don't feel right, and give it time. So I did. I was on it for a few months, and then I was like, this isn't working for me. Like, I'm still having issues. Maybe we need a new medicine, maybe we need to adjust, like something's not right. So she doubled my dose. Doubled from 15 to 30. And I had a meltdown. And it wasn't just one meltdown, it was several meltdowns within the first 48 hours. And I literally called her office bawling. And I was like, I can't control my emotions, are all over the place. I can't do this. I need to be taken off the meds. They need to be switched. And they were like, no, just give it time. Let me tell you something. If you ever have a doctor that tells you that and you are having that serious of a reaction that fast, get a new doctor. Get a second opinion, because you are probably having a reaction to the medication. And it's not a big deal. It happens. Not a big deal. But when I went in, the doctor told me, have you ever been diagnosed with bipolar disorder? And I was like, no, it's never even been on my radar. And at that time, I wasn't very educated at all about any of it. Not about the anxiety, the PTSD, the not even really my depression. And I've had depression and anxiety for years. And so I was like, no, that was never even really on my radar. And to me, bipolar disorder, like with most people, they think it is crazy. They think you're crazy. They put you in this little box and they slap a label on it that says, this bitch is crazy. And that's literally what my ex, Troy and Emma's dad, told everybody. Because I had talked to him about it and I was like, wow, they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. I even tried to take what he had done to me and take the blame for it because I thought I was crazy. I have this bipolar disorder now and I'm crazy. I'm not freaking crazy. But she was like, well, you shouldn't have reacted to that antidepressant like that. So you have to have bipolar disorder. Do you have mood swings? And I'm like, does everybody have mood swings? Like, I thought that was normal. And so she ended up putting me on bipolar medication. And from there, for the next year and a half, I was just upping doses constantly. And I was such a zombie. We were all miserable. I was miserable. And, I was just, but I was compliant in my relationship. And that's key. That's key. Because I was a zombie. I didn't care. I just did what I was told. Until something would trigger me, and then I would rage, and then I would melt down. And then I would call the doctor and be like, I don't know what happened. And they'd be like, oh, well, we'll just adjust the dose. I mean, at one point, I was taking 3,000, almost 3,000. It's like 300 milligram pills 3 times a day. So I was taking 900 milligrams 3 times a day. What is that? 2,800? What's 9 times 3? Troy, help me out. Really? Oh, it's because you're eating. Anyways, I don't math at all. Like, I don't even try. My brain goes, no, I don't care. You don't need that in your daily life, so no. I have a calculator on my phone, which Emma has, so sorry. Anyways, whatever that is. But I was taking almost 3,000 milligrams, and that's just one medication. I don't even remember what the bipolar med was up to. My mood stabilizer was like 900 milligrams a day. It's 2,800, what I said. So I was right.
3 times a day?
Yeah.
900 a day, right?
900 3 times a day.
Yeah, so it's
28. 9 times 3. We'll get there eventually, guys. Sorry. But I was taking, and then, see, there was the mood stabilizer. Then there was the medication. I was taking Excedrin migraine every day because, and sometimes I would sneak an extra pill because it wasn't working because I was having headaches every day. And I feel like there was, oh, and then there was the antidepressant, which I don't even remember. She left me on the same one, by the way. So yeah, I just do your research. Like, don't take them at their word. Like, do your research. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say every doctor and every therapist is bad, but you know, like, especially people who have mental health issues, they're a little more sensitive to the world. I wouldn't say they're all empath, but a vast majority of them are. So at the end of the day, if you don't feel right in your treatment, you don't feel right with your doctor, you don't feel right with your diagnosis, seek a second opinion. Do your own research. It's better to do your own research and be wrong or question it than to suffer for years under a misdiagnosis. Because I don't actually have bipolar disorder, but I was medicated for it for almost 2 years, and it really messed up my life. You know, I missed a lot with my kids. I messed up a lot with my kids. I messed up with work. You know, my relationship has suffered more recently because when we started our relationship, I was heavily medicated. So I was very compliant. I had all these big dreams and hopes, but I was so compliant with like everyday life. Like, I was okay with my shit, you know, dead end job. I was okay with not making ends meet and relying on him for help, you know. I was okay with whatever, you know, until I was triggered, and then God help everybody who's anywhere near me. But once I decided that I didn't want to be medicated like that anymore, that I couldn't live like that, I didn't want to be a zombie anymore, and I found a regular doctor, a PCP, and she helped me wean down off. Now, over the last few years, we've tried different anxiety meds. You know, I've tried gabapentin again, instant headaches. I want to say Cymbalta because I have carpal tunnel. So she thought maybe that would help with the carpal tunnel and my anxiety, which was the whole point behind gabapentin because it's a nerve pain medication. And it also is shown to be very effective with anxiety, which I know for a fact it is because I've been on it before. But it causes really bad tremors. And for me, the last time I tried it, it's headaches so bad. You know, there's been Lexapro, you know, just maybe a handful. I actually ended up taking Xanax for a while, which was really terrifying at first because I was an addict for a long time, and Xanax is one of my favorites. So nowadays kids pop Xanax, and this is where you understand, this is where you start to understand the difference between medication, on a person who's trying to get high, and medication effects on somebody who actually needs it. So when I would take Xanax, people take Xanax now, and I have seen they'll just pass out. They'll take a 4 bar and they're out like a light, or they're so stoned out of their mind that like you can't even hold a conversation with them. For me though, when I take Xanax, it's like a light bulb goes off. Like all that anxiety and all that crap that just makes me want to curl up in a ball and like hide my face and shelter in place, it's gone. It's like it dissolves it. And I'm not tired, but I'm chill. And I can do my job. I can get on the phones when I need to. I can deal with employees that are jerks when I need to. I can deal with difficult situations with no problem. I'm very like dominant, strong personality. And I'm like, this is what we need to do. Let's get it done. Okay, yeah. And, I'm on my game. So when I was taking Xanax and when I was addicted to drugs, it wasn't so much about the high. It was about self-medicating. It was about me trying to get past the anxiety so that I could function. And now,
Me and Peyton got in an argument, and she brought her mom into it.
oh Lord. Okay, I'll deal with that in a minute. So it was very scary when we talked about me taking Xanax again because I wasn't really sure if I was ready. I want the anxiety gone. I want to be able to function every day, but I also don't want something that's so incredibly addictive. But as it turns out, I'm in a much better place now. So I was able to take a prescription of Xanax and make it last. A 1 month supply lasted me 3 months because I literally only took it when I had bad days. So, and now that I have a regular psychiatrist and a therapist, we've changed my regimen. I'm on something different. And we're kind of just seeing how it goes. And we're working through therapy, and, I'm going in for a full psych eval to really reevaluate all of my diagnosis so that we can readjust my diagnosis table so that we can look at a better treatment for me. There's some things that are being taken off the table, like bipolar disorder. What?
She's about to go, and I really want you to talk to her.
Well, I can't right now. This is more important than Peyton's mom.
You can make that video later.
So, kid drama. So, there's things that are being taken off the table, like bipolar disorder, and then there's things that are being put on the table as a maybe, like ADHD, and, so we're really getting in deep and getting involved, because I did my research, and I finally found a doctor that I'm totally comfortable with. I absolutely love her, and she listens to me, and she's the first person who has ever validated my own research on myself and my diagnosis. And, it's really amazing. It's amazing to have a doctor that I'm comfortable with. And that's super important for anybody who's seeking any kind of mental health, any kind of treatment or anything. You have to be comfortable with your provider, because if you're not, then you're not in the right place and you're not going to get the right treatment, and you may share things that don't come out right, or you may not share enough, and your diagnosis is not going to be accurate, your treatment's not going to be accurate, it's not going to be fully beneficial for you. So you really I encourage you to do your own treatment, and especially when it comes to your kids, because I've been down that road. I've had the kids in and out of therapy and medication, and I've gone without medication with some of the kids. We've tried medication with the other kids. We've had really bad, side effects with some of, I had one of my girls was ADD, and because she didn't have the hyperactivity aspect of it, they put her on a non-stimulant medication for it, and she started cutting herself. And then later down the road, our therapist was like, oh yeah, that's a common side effect of that medication. And I'm like, why would nobody tell you that? Like, they don't tell you that shit. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you live in Denton County, MHMR is the worst. Okay? They don't tell you side effects. They don't. They like a certain group of drugs, and even if you tell them, no, this is not going to work well for me, or this is not going to work well for my child, they're like, oh, just give it a chance. I've dealt with it with my kids. I dealt with it with me. It's awful. If you can absolutely, if there's any way you can get other treatment, get it. Because they are misdiagnosing and mismedicating on a vast scale. But anyways, that's my own little soapbox. So yeah, just educate yourself. Educate yourself. And always remember at the end of the day that you know yourself better than anybody else. Better than any doctor, better than any therapist. Like, if you feel like something is wrong, then something probably is wrong. So trust your instincts, trust that gut feeling, and do your research. Do your research on your medication, your diagnosis, even research your doctors. You can go on and find reviews online of your doctors and find out if there's been complaints, if there's been lawsuits, if there's been, if they're getting, you can actually find patterns in the reviews where you can identify what doctors are taking kickbacks, because they tend to take the same set of drugs for everything. And they come around with a certain set of diagnoses for everybody. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents tonight. And I know it's a long one, but I just feel like so many people need to be educated, and just educate yourself. Just check it, just educate yourself. Research everything and trust your instincts, because you know you. Okay, I love you guys. Leave a comment down below if there's anything you guys want to know, questions. Maybe we'll do a Q&A at some point. I don't know. Subscribe and share this video with your friends, with your family. Share it with people that need to know this kind of stuff. If anybody's dealing with mental health issues, share this with them. Let them know they're not alone. And I totally get it, because that road is a long one. And it's got ups and downs. And it's got some really good things, and it's got some really bad things. And you can't do it by yourself. So, I love you guys.